Welcome to This Explainer. As you're training for a career in aircraft maintenance, you're already building some incredible hands-on skills out there in the hangar. But today, we're going to take that tactile, wrench-in-hand knowledge and translate it into the universal language of engineering blueprints. We are essentially bridging the gap between the tools in your toolbox and the schematics on your screen. So let's just dive right in with a fundamental question. It's actually one you've probably faced when you're troubleshooting a really complex system. How do we get everyone, from the original engineer who designed the aircraft to the mechanic replacing a part literally 20 years later, on the exact same page? How do we universally communicate the precise size, shape, and material of millions of individual aircraft parts without a single misunderstanding grounding a multi-million-dollar jet? Well, the answer is technical drawings. Think of these as our universal language. They're the absolute essential communication tool in engineering and manufacturing that connects the original creator directly to you, the maintenance technician. Without this shared language, keeping a fleet airworthy, it'd be pretty much impossible. Today's agenda is all about building our understanding from the ground up. We'll cover the purpose of aircraft drawings, their classification, and then look at detailed drawings, assembly drawings, installation drawings, and finally, sectional view drawings.
All right, Section 1, Purpose of Aircraft Drawings. Let's get into it.
Look, guessing just doesn't cut it in aviation, you know that. A good technical drawing has to give us the complete story. It dictates the exact size and shape, the strict specifications for the materials, right down to how that material should be finished, and of course, the precise roadmap for assembly. Basically, it holds every single piece of essential information you need to make or assemble that object safely.
Moving right along to Section 2, Classification of Drawings. It's actually pretty wild how the massive, sometimes overwhelming universe of aircraft documentation can be neatly divided into just 3 main buckets. Every schematic you're going to pull up on your tablet or unroll on a workbench will fall into one of these 3 classes: detailed drawings, assembly drawings, or installation drawings. Just knowing which one you're looking at, that's half the battle right there.
Which brings us to Section 3, Detailed Drawings. A detailed drawing is your absolute micro view. It completely isolates one specific individual piece with 0 distractions. No other components are shown. It uses lines, notes, and symbols to spell out the exact characteristics of that one single part: its size, its shape, the material, and even the exact methods used to manufacture it. So think of this as the schematic for a single critical bolt you're about to torque down on a landing gear strut. It won't show you the tire, and it definitely won't show you the strut itself. It just gives you everything you could possibly need to verify that this specific bolt is the exact one called for in the manual.
Next up, Section 4, Assembly Drawings.
Because as we all know, a box of loose individual bolts isn't exactly going to fly, right? Once you have your single components, you've got to know how they fit together, and that is exactly where the assembly drawing comes in. By definition, an assembly drawing describes an object made up of 2 or more parts. It's the blueprint showing you how multiple individual pieces join together to form a complete functional unit. Now, rather than giving you the microscopic manufacturing details of every single piece, this drawing states the overall size and shape in a much more general way. Its primary job is just to show the relationship between the various parts. Because it illustrates an interconnected system, it's usually way more complex than a detail drawing. Oh, and often, you'll see an assembly drawing accompanied by several detailed drawings, just in case you need to reference the specifics of those individual components.
Moving on to Section 5, Installation Drawings.
So this is where it gets real. The installation drawing shows you the final home for the part or assembly. It depicts the object in its ultimate installed position within the larger system, which for us is the aircraft itself. It gives you the big picture of exactly where this component lives relative to the rest of the airframe. The really crucial point here is that this drawing provides the exact reference dimensions you actually need when you're working out there on the floor. For example, if you're mounting a new engine component, the installation drawing is going to show you exactly where it sits within the fuselage, complete with the location dimensions you need to position it perfectly relative to the bulkheads and other existing structures. This comparison perfectly illustrates the difference between the 2 extremes of our drawing classes. You use detailed drawings to inspect an isolated part all by itself, confirming its bare dimensions and material, but you rely on the installation drawing to figure out exactly where and how that part lives inside the actual aircraft. They serve entirely different but absolutely vital purposes for you as a technician.
And finally, Section 6, Sectional View Drawings. Sometimes standard exterior views just aren't enough to figure out how a component works internally.
When that happens, we imagine a cutting plane slicing right through the object. It's essentially giving you X-ray vision. By conceptually cutting away a part of the object, we can reveal the internal shape, the construction, and all those hidden features that would otherwise be totally obscured from the outside. So, let's break down your 4 primary tools for seeing inside a part. First, a full section. This is when that imaginary plane cuts completely through the entire object, perfect for complex internal structures, like, say, looking inside a coaxial cable connector. Second is the half section. Here, the plane cuts only halfway across, leaving the other half as an exterior view. This is incredibly useful for symmetrical objects where you want to see both the inside and the outside simultaneously. Third, we have the revolved section. This one is drawn directly on the exterior view of the part, as if you sliced it and rotated the cut 90 degrees to face you. You'll see this a lot to show the cross-section of elongated parts like wheel spokes. Finally, the removed section. This is similar to a revolved section, but the drawing is moved off to the side of the main view. We do this so we can draw that cross-section at a much larger scale, isolating and magnifying specific, critical details for absolute clarity.
To wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with a scenario straight from the hangar. Imagine you're reviewing documentation for a perfectly symmetrical quick disconnect used in an aircraft fluid system. The engineer needed to show you both the internal locking mechanism and the external gripping surface, all in one single efficient view. Based on what we just covered, which type of section would they use? Think about that cutting plane and how it translates to the wrench turning you do every day. Keep studying those blueprints, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.